Kitco News special coverage of the AIBC Summit is brought to you by Coin Payments. Crypto payments made easy.
We're here now with a celebrity in the crypto space, Davinci Jeremie. He's an early adopter of Bitcoin, very early. He's got diamond hands. We'll be talking about exactly what that means. He's the host of the Davinci J15 YouTube channel, and of course, he's an influencer and an educator in the space, having produced numerous videos on the crypto space. A lot of the topics we'll be talking about today. Welcome to the show, Davinci. Pleasure to have you on Kitco.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
You've talked about your story numerous times on media, but it's your first time on Kitco, so I'd like to give you a chance to tell the audience here at Kitco your story again. So you were an early adopter of Bitcoin. Exactly how early, and what made you see something back then that most people didn't see?
Well, I got into Bitcoin back in March of 2011, when just before that, one of my YouTube subscribers, because I had a YouTube channel since 2008, said, "Hey, what do you think about Bitcoin?" Right? Because I was only talking about gold and silver back before Bitcoin came along. And when I looked at the website, I thought, oh, scam. You can't solve the double spend problem because I'm a software developer. I know that's not possible. So I said, I'm going to read the source code and see how they're scamming people. And so I read through the source code and I realized, oh my goodness, this is going to work. And I remember my first video, which got 751 thumbs down to like 50 likes. I said, every once in a while, something comes along that makes poor people rich because they bought it really, really cheap. This is one of them. Because now we have a system of money that the governments can't stop, right? And you could transfer wealth to anyone around the world instantly without a third party. This is mind-blowing technology. And I thought people would get it. I thought they would understand that we need a monetary system where there isn't a third party. But people just didn't understand that, and they hated it. And every time I talked about it, from that point on, my views, like to dislike ratios, the dislikes were very high.
This is back in 2011. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, they only wanted me to talk about gold and silver, not Bitcoin.
Oh, believe me, Davinci, coming from a gold and silver channel, I know exactly what you mean. But we've expanded from that, and now we're at a crypto conference. I feel you, Davinci, I feel you. All right. Moving on from the gold and silver realm, you must have seen some similarities between gold and Bitcoin, or were they completely different assets in your view?
Yes, I saw similarities because we use gold, right? Because it's limited, it's the supply, and it's identifiable, it's difficult to counterfeit, and it's fungible. So we know that it's this gold coin is the same as this value of this gold coin. So Bitcoin has that same ability, but it has one extra feature that gold does not have. You could actually transfer it to anyone around the world instantly. Also, it has an additional feature now that most people don't realize, is that unlike any other monetary system we've had, you don't have to be a person in order to own Bitcoin, in order to own money as Bitcoin. And so that means your fridge could own Bitcoin, your car could own Bitcoin, your robot could own Bitcoin and work for you and then pay you a salary, right? And then go fix itself or do all kinds of things. So we were going to see a totally different world once Bitcoin becomes money. Totally different.
Okay, we're going to come back to that. You mentioned fungibility. I've actually heard this counter argument from somebody who claims that Bitcoin is no longer fungible. And this is an interesting argument. And she said that it's no longer fungible because every single Bitcoin has been transacted differently, and every single Bitcoin stores the data of all the transactions on its ledger. And so every Bitcoin, the value not just comes from the price, but also the data underlying Bitcoin. You know what's happened to that Bitcoin. You know who's been doing what with that Bitcoin. That data is invaluable, especially for government agencies. That no longer makes it fungible.
Yes, that has been a problem before because the government has in the past said that these Bitcoins are bad, and if they transfer to your wallet, then you'll taint your whole wallet. Now, with Schnorr signatures and Taproot, that problem is gone. There's no way to track the who sent it to where. So there's plausible deniability because what you can do once people start using Taproot and Schnorr signatures, the miners will automatically put all the transactions together. You won't see where the transaction, you'll only see that it came from the bad wallet but you won't see what good wallet it went to, what wallet it went to in the result. You won't see the resulting wallet that the Bitcoin went to. You only see that a whole bunch of people sent these Bitcoins, and they somewhere it went to these in a bunch of these addresses, and you don't know which one.
Okay. What was the price of Bitcoin when you bought it back in 2011?
It was $1. Actually, my lowest price was 67 cents that I paid for, but the average price was $1, and back in March of 2011.
Okay. And all right, that's a pretty good return. Not bad. Could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be bad. Could be worse. Could be worse. Listen, it could be better. I mean, but also could be worse. Listen, the argument that Bitcoin is a store of value, if you look at it over a 13-year horizon, or that it's beaten inflation over a 13-year horizon, sure, that makes sense. But do you buy the argument that it's a store of value short term or medium term?
No, I don't think it's a good store of value in the short term. But if you buy with a 5-year plus time horizon, it is a good store of value if you're looking at that time frame.
Okay. Do you still think that its properties as a store of value hold today, given everything that's happening today with the crypto winter, with FTX, lack of trust?
I've been through a lot of winters already, crypto winters already. The first one was when I bought it at $1, and I bought it all the way up to the top of $32. And people were laughing at me as it dropped all the way back down to $2, and I'm still buying all the way down. And because I knew that it didn't matter, it was going to be the money. People are going to use this. People are going to see the value of this product, and they're going to flock to it because, one, I think governments will create their own digital currency and make it impossible for people to use by blocking what they buy, telling them what they can and can't buy, and then they'd be like, yeah, we don't like this. And then it's like, bonus, Bitcoin's here, right? So yeah, bring on the CBDCs.
Well, hold up though. But like the governments can tell you can't use Bitcoin. You can only use the CBDCs, right?
Yeah, they did that with dollars, right? In Argentina, Russia, and Venezuela. It didn't work out for the governments, right? People still buy, when you buy a house in Venezuela, you don't pay in bolivars, you pay in dollars, right? Even though it's illegal. Yeah. So it doesn't work.
I want to come back to Bitcoin as a form of payment. That's what everyone's thinking about. Am I going to be paying with stuff with Bitcoin? But first, you've survived many crypto winters. You've held through all of them. In every single crypto winter in the past, Bitcoin has recovered and then some and made new all-time highs. What about this time?
Yeah, well, this time's the same. I mean, we're in a major crypto winter because I believe the central banks and the governments put together regulation to make sure that this would happen. One with the commodities exchange. The commodities exchange Bitcoin's the only commodity on the commodities exchange where you can't get delivery. Yet it's the easiest commodity to deliver on. Whilst if you bought a contract of oil on the commodities exchange and you didn't you waited until it expired, there'd be a bunch of oil coming to your house. Okay, if you bought some corn contract and you waited for it expired and it expired, there'd be corn coming to your house. I hope you got some place to store it. But if your Bitcoin contract expires, all you get is cash. Right? That's one way they manipulate the price. The other way is with the ETF. The ETF is backed up with the commodities contracts. Right? Once they opened up that ETF, that's when the price started dropping because people could buy what they felt was Bitcoin on as an ETF, but that's not Bitcoin. It has no value. It's all it is connected to the price. You only have price exposure with the ETF to when you buy the Bitcoin ETF. It's just price exposure. You don't get any. You're not participating in the price rise. You're not taking away Bitcoin out of the market.
Yeah.
So that's one of the two ways, but there's more that they actually manipulate the price down.
Okay, who's manipulating the price down?
Well, they don't manipulate it directly. They just have the rules set up so that, yeah, you guys will do it. All right. So that's what they do, right? So they
You're talking about the governments wanting this?
Yeah, because they've created, like, for example, remember, the first example was prime. Why would you not have a commodity? You call Bitcoin a commodity, why would you just provide delivery of it? That's manipulating the price, right?
It's true. The CFTC has labeled digital assets as a commodity. Yeah.
Yes. So why can't you deliver on it, right? When it's the easiest product to deliver on, it's hard to deliver everything else.
Maybe there's new regulations that need to be formed around that.
So there you go. right? So that's a scam. That's a big scam. Every other commodity can be delivered, not Bitcoin? Okay, buddy, whatever. So another thing they do, right, is they allow for people to borrow against their Bitcoins and lend their Bitcoins. Those two on their own, they should seem like, well, what? Well, how do they manipulate price with that? Well, they're quite simple, right? They don't have to do the manipulation themselves. They let the free market do that. So if you borrow somebody's Bitcoin, because people lend their Bitcoin and gain like 6 to 8% interest on their Bitcoin, which is dumb. You should never do that, but that's another topic. But what is somebody going to do when they borrow that Bitcoin? Are they going to create a business? Are they going to create a business and earn more Bitcoin to give you the percentage? No.
Yeah.
They're going to sell the Bitcoin. All right, so when they sell the Bitcoin, they have a problem. They got to be able to buy it back. And if they're selling a lot of Bitcoin into the market in order to bring down the price, where can they buy it back? Oh, simple. There's people who are lending against, borrowing against their Bitcoin, and they have a liquidation price. You just need to find out what their liquidation price and push the price down to that liquidation price. And now you have the liquidity to buy back the Bitcoins in return.
There's this other argument that Bitcoin is deflationary because people keep losing their keys.
That's true.
I think that was half a joke. But Davinci, you looked at the source code of Bitcoin in 2011. What made you believe in it after looking at the code?
Well, what made me believe in it is that I once tried to build the same thing, and I failed at making it. And when I saw that this guy solved this double spend problem, where how do I know that if I give you a digital asset, I didn't give it to your camera guy right there, right? You need to be able to make sure of that. And once I give you the digital asset, I can't give it to somebody else. That's what was solved. Main thing that was solved was by Satoshi Nakamoto. And so once I saw that, I knew that it was going to work. I knew that it was going to be our future of money. And so I was so happy to be early on the game. In fact, I was actually angry that I didn't get it sooner when it was free.
Yeah, but you would have bought pizzas with it for sure.
No.
That brings me to my next question. Would you buy stuff with Bitcoin?
Yes, I still do. I buy stuff with Bitcoin now. I mean, you know what?
But if it's a store of value long term, why waste it on buying stuff with it?
Okay. One of the things that the Keynesians like to say about deflationary currencies, of course, is that people will just hoard it. They'll just store it forever, and they'll never use it. I say BS to that because here's why. Everybody wants stuff, right? You want a better life. You want things, not some digits on a screen. Digits on a screen does not give you a good life. It's the stuff that people create that does, right? A house, a car, right? Watches, whatever makes you happy. That's the real things you want to own, not some digits on a screen.
I mean, if the digits on the screen make you feel rich, why not?
Well, feeling rich and living rich are two different things.
Okay.
You could feel rich even without any money.
So that leads to the ultimate question of why own Bitcoin. Is it ultimately to buy more physical things with, or is it ultimately to...
All in money and everything that you do for money, the ultimate goal is always to buy something, what you can buy with it. You're not holding it because you want these digits. You want it because what it can buy. What it could buy, like for example, I want this money, a whole bunch of money so I could buy my medical freedom, or if I get sick, I'm going to be taken care of. Well, that's something you can buy. It's all about what it can buy. It's not about the digits, how many digits it got. It's what it can buy, and that's all it is.
What are you going to buy with your Bitcoin, Jeremy?
Well, I am going to try to purchase the undoing of our current banking system, to make sure that our banking system, the way it's formed today, that people understand that it's complete slavery, right? And that it will never come back to humanity. Like, for example, no politician is going to come up to you and say, hey, I got an idea. let's go to war to this country, take all the people and make them slaves and have them work for us. That's never going to happen, right? So I want central banking to be like that, where it's like duh, that's never going to happen again, because central banking is the worst kind of slavery that has affected all of mankind. Because if I can print money and you have to work for it, that makes you a slave.
Are you saying central bank, in your words, central banks have presented the worst kind of slavery known to mankind? Are you saying that they've provided no good or no utility to society whatsoever?
Can't say that. You absolutely can't say that. You can say that, okay, well, you can borrow money, print money, right, by borrowing it, and then build stuff, right, with it, right? But unfortunately, when men have the ability to print money, they don't always do good with it, right? And when you have a lot of people who can print money, the people at the top are always the worst of the worst, because because the ability of printing money is evil because it's evil to everybody else, because it sucks away the wealth from everybody else. And so if you have an opportunity, only criminals want to be able to do that, really. They want to be able to steal wealth from everybody. Well, the best way to do that is to become a bank.
Let me ask you this. I was having this debate with a colleague the other day. Suppose energy were free. Suppose food were provided by the government. Your basic living necessities were free. The only thing that you have to pay for out of your own pocket are discretionary items, luxury items. Would you work, Jeremy? Davinci? Would you get yourself out of bed? Do whatever it is that you do? Would you even be incentivized to work?
Yes, of course, because you always want more. We're humans. We want more out of life, right? We want something else. We want to get to the next level.
You want more.
Right? There's other people who will do as well. You will find people going, okay, well, I'm bored of doing this, right? And I want to do something else. You will find people willing, a lot more people than you think, willing to go, okay, you know what? So what? I got my food, my shelter and everything. But you're really in a prison because you need to feel like you're contributing something to society. And the best way to contribute is to build something that other people want and get paid for it and get rewarded for it, right? The only way right now, the best way to be rewarded is with money, right? And that's our.
So just to play devil's advocate to your earlier argument here, yes, central banks have created inflation through money printing. They've borrowed. Now we've got record debt problems. But people, to your point, will be working anyway, right? Even if we've got 0% inflation, even if we don't have to slave away and make ends meet because everything's going up in price, we'd still want more.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, there would be people who can actually just save, who do not want to keep a basic level of lifestyle, and they don't want anything to change. They want it to slightly improve. Well, now that's possible because it's not possible under our current financial system. You can't save X amount and say, okay, well, this is going to save me until the rest of my retirement. No, you don't know that. Because the inflation could go way out of control and wipe you out. So we need a monetary system that allows you to save X amount, whether it be 10, whatever the digit number is, a fixed digit number, and you know that you'll be able to survive on that.
We need an asset whereby I can put that away in my bank or my wallet or whatever under my pillow, and I know in 10 years it's going to rise proportional to inflation. Is there such a thing?
No, there isn't. There isn't, because everything is fixed. Everything's managed that you can use as an inflation hedge. Gold is managed very well, same with silver, by the central banks. If you don't believe that, there's plenty of evidence, because all the people who talked, I remember back in the days, back from 2008 up until, I think it was when it was discovered was like 2018, around the 2018, that all gold and silver was manipulated by the banks, and all the articles disappeared saying that, oh no, there's no manipulation in the gold and silver market. Now there's evidence of the manipulation. Now they even admit it. And those articles are gone. So it's clear that
commercial banks, you mean?
Yeah, they're manipulating gold and silver and they're keeping the price down. There's emails of them going back and forth saying, okay, we're going to short it, we're going to dump it on Sunday and cause the price to collapse. And I mean, we got them red-handed.
What incentive do they have to manipulate the price down?
Because gold and silver have been money for 5,000 years. So you don't want that to be the money, get back to becoming the money and people realizing it. And the only way for it to people to realize that something's wrong with the current monetary system is the prices of gold and silver start to rise. If it rises too fast, people are going to ask questions and they're going to find out. Can't have that.
That's interesting.
In fact, Paul Volcker said back in the 80s, as he raised the interest rate to 30%, he said, my job would have been easier if we just managed the price of gold. And then shortly after that, in 1983, that's when they started managing the price of gold.
Yeah, I think Greenspan was the one that talked about it as well. Now, to your point about the bankers and traders suppressing the price and managing the derivatives market, it's possible, Davinci, that they're just doing it to fatten their own pockets and break some rules trading along the way. And some of them have been fined, and some of them have probably gone to jail for it. But maybe they're not being. Maybe there's no broader agenda. I'm just speculating here. Maybe they just want to make some profits.
Yeah, and maybe we live in a world of candies and lollipops for everybody. Maybe you just don't realize it. Okay. It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
I like lollipops.
Yes, but yeah, it's not like that, right?
Right. But
The odds are very low
So you're
that they're just doing it. They might be doing it personally for profit,
but someone's controlling them.
Exactly.
What evidence do we have that someone's controlling them?
Well, the only evidence we have is indirect evidence, of course,
Okay.
because when I mentioned the Paul Volcker saying, hey, well, let's manage the price of gold. So obviously they're not going to sit there and go, yeah, that was a good idea, but no, we're not going to do it. Right? Come on.
Okay, so we have circumstantial evidence.
Exactly.
All right. So let's move on to Bitcoin and how Bitcoin might be the solution. Do you think Bitcoin is the solution to this monetary problem that we have? You've described a scenario in which, the middle class is, getting screwed over. Colorful language I'm using by the monetary system. How can we fix that? How can we protect the middle class?
We can't because the system is ingrained. Everybody is a part of it. Everybody depends on it. And so it has to collapse on its own. So it will collapse on its own because it can't continue to function because it requires exponential growth of debt. To understand that how it's not sustainable, you have to look at it on a micro level. If we were on an island and we have you're a fisherman and we have somebody else's housemaker, and I'm the banker. And there's no money on it. There's zero money on it. And I say, I got an idea. I'm gonna press this button right here, and create $100 so you could buy that house, but you got to give that $100. You got to give me $110 next month. And you, without thinking, you go, okay, sure, great. Now there's $100 on the island. You pay the housemaker. He builds the house, and you realize, how am I going to get $110 when there's only $100 on the island? Well, as a banker, I say, simple. Somebody else has to borrow money from me. So it's a never-ending cycle of debt, and the debt has to be expanded exponentially. And nothing can grow in an exponential curve. But debt has been growing in an exponential curve, and it will collapse because everything, if it grows to an exponential curve, collapses.
I think you're talking about money multiplier, right? The concept of $1 being able to create more money because it's being lent out, that's creating value, and that's adding value to society, and that's producing more goods. And that $1 all of a sudden becomes $10 in value, right?
Well, it's not exactly like that anymore.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be like 10% reserves, meaning the bank had to have 10% of your deposits available, and then they could create up to like the 90% of the, it's not like that. The reserves went to zero as of March of 2020. Across the board, all banks can now, effectively, you can walk into a bank and say, I want $1 trillion. And the bank can actually loan it to you, right?
They can loan you $1 trillion.
Yes, and the only thing that stops them is their internal rules. The central bank rules doesn't stop them. So they can loan $1 trillion. In fact, you can go, I'll make it 2. And they can do that. They just haven't figured that out yet because they're so stuck in the past with their current rule, the past rules of, hey, there's a 10% reserves.
Yeah.
They're only starting to slowly see, wait a second here. We could borrow, lend as much as we want. So effectively, if you're a person who borrows money from you, right? The saying, if you owe the bank $1 million and can't pay, you've got a problem. If you owe the bank $1 billion and can't pay, the bank's got a problem. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna loan you some more money.
Yeah.
And they can now because they have no reserve requirements.
Yeah. Well, how much is Bitcoin going to appreciate in the next bull cycle, you think?
Well, I really think that we'll finally see the 100K, right? Finally, that everybody's been elusive 100K.
Right. We're going to see that eventually?
Yes, we will see that eventually. I think we'll do at least 10x from the bottom, wherever the bottom is from the Bitcoin.
Well, if it's going to go 10x, you're saying the bottom's going to be 10K? They're going to go to 100K?
Yeah, I think we'll probably see 12K and so we might do 120 or something like that.
All right, cool. Yeah. And when do you think the winter is going to be over for cryptos?
Well, it's the same time, right? I mean, it's going to take until 2024, basically.
Okay.
We have to wait until then to see the winter really start to subside because then Bitcoin keeps halvening, goes through. Yeah. It'll be interesting, this next halvening, because then the stock-to-flow ratio actually drops way below gold. Gold's stock-to-flow ratio is about 2%. So we're always adding 2% more gold to the total stock of gold that we have. Yeah. Whilst Bitcoin will drop to less than 2%, approximately 1.6% of the total supply will be created on an annual basis from that point on. So get interesting.
All right. And I'm going to close on FTX. You talked about this in your own Instagram. Is Solana dead? Is one of the chapters that you are one of the titles that you published? What do you think?
I don't think Solana is dead. I think there will be a lot of the prices will get crushed a bit, and we'll see it like flatline for a long time, but then it will come back.
I had this discussion the other day. Is the identity of Solana too much intertwined with FTX, and if so, maybe now's a good time to buy. Maybe it's undervalued.
Yes, it is a little bit intertwined with FTX, but that will go away eventually. Yeah. Yes, I make fun of Solana calling it sometimes online or SOL coin. We know what SOL stands for. And but it is. That does have a lot of projects using it, so it will be back. I don't know if it's going to be stronger than ever, but yeah, it's not going to go away. All right.
Well, what's going to happen to FTX now? People going to go to jail or not?
Well, you can tell that the news is portraying SBF as a hero, or you just made a mistake and it's all CZ's fault and he did this and there was nothing wrong with FTX if CZ hadn't said anything. And so you can see that they're setting it up so that he's not going to jail. So it's unfortunate, right? He did commit a crime, but when you commit such a big crime, it's really hard to go to jail.
When you commit such a big crime, it's really hard to go to jail. Yes. That's very profound. So if I go to the store and rob the bakery, I go to jail. Yes. If I rob people of billions of dollars, I don't go to jail. Exactly. All right.
The odds of you going to jail are less.
Okay. Is that how society works now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying he has to or doesn't have to, but we're just speculating as to what's going to happen next. You think people are going to get their money back?
No.
No chance?
Not a chance.
No chance. It's lost forever? All right.
You're done.
Okay. All right, Davinci, pleasure speaking with you.
It was a good pleasure of mine.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show, and thank you for watching Kitco News. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel.
Kitco News special coverage of the AIBC Summit is brought to you by Coin Payments. Crypto payments made easy.